One of the big problems in our society is that people equate legality with morality or illegality with immorality. Just because you've done something illegal does not mean you did something immoral. If you break the law and what you did wasn't immoral, in other words, it didn't hurt somebody else or you didn't steal somebody else's stuff, and you get arrested for doing that thing which people call illegal, then the person who arrested you or kidnapped you did that which is immoral. They initiated unjust force against you when you haven't harmed anybody and you haven't taken anybody else's stuff. Guys, if you enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and don't forget to subscribe to my email list via my website, highimpactflix.com. All those links are in the description below. Guys, I don't think my channel is going to make it on this platform much longer. Also, check out my channel on BitChute. You guys enjoy the video. Historically and in reality, the downfall of any society has been that society's view on morality and the extent to which that culture would go to justify any immoral action. And by morality, I'm talking about the non-consensual initiation of force or coercion on individuals who have neither harmed nor threatened to harm any other person or group of people. And this observation brings us to a telltale sign that's a barometer for any sick society. Believe it or not, it brings us to the doorstep of an occupation. Of all the occupations known to man, one of them is the most despicable that humanity has ever known. And ironically, it's the one that's consistently hailed by the unthinking masses as one of the most commendable. That occupation is law enforcement. Now, this might all be new to you, but I urge you to stick around, because I'm going to make the case for my assertion in short order. Now, Obama would have you believe that there is no justification for any violence against law enforcement.
There is no possible justification for these kinds of attacks or any violence against law enforcement.
But think about this for a minute. Is there ever justification for any violence against a rapist, a murderer, a thief who's holding you at gunpoint, or a kidnapper? What if you use justifiable violence to defend yourself or your loved ones against one of these criminals who are threatening to take your life, liberty, or property? Well, you'd be seen as a person who's doing a noble thing because you've dealt with the immoral agent in a just manner. But what if the rapist, murderer, thief, or kidnapper happens to be wearing a badge, uniform, and a gun and claims to walk in the authority of the state? What if you use justifiable violence against that criminal? I mean, the crimes are the same, right? There's a victim where you find a loss of individual liberties, property, or even loss of life, right? If you resist a gun-toting carjacker and take him to the ground, you've done what most people believe is just. But what if you, who has neither harmed nor threatened to harm anyone, justly took a cop to the ground for attempting to violate your life, liberty, or property? You guys know what would happen. You would bring down upon yourself the full force of every state agent they could muster, and they'd hunt you down till they found you, and you probably wouldn't live through the experience. The media would report what you've done as a heinous crime, and breaking news stories would depict you as the criminal in a statewide manhunt. So the cop commits an immoral act that neither you or I are allowed to do, and comes off looking like a fallen hero, while the guy who justly fought for his rights is painted as the bad guy. Listen guys, the cold hard fact is this. Every cop knowingly signs on to enforce laws. All laws. Many of the laws are clearly unjust and even cruel and wicked. Therefore, every cop has agreed to act as an enforcer of laws that are unjust, cruel, and wicked. This objective observation is all the evidence you need to determine that there are no good cops.
It was a wild scene, and it's hard to believe it all started with a simple speeding ticket.
You're doing 71 back there and a 55, okay?
Oriana Farrell and a state police officer are arguing over a ticket just south of Taos.
I'll be right back. Go ahead and turn the vehicle off for me.
But as the cop walks off, Farrell does the opposite, pulling away instead. So he pulls her over again. The officer isn't too happy.
Get out of the vehicle. Get out of the vehicle right now.
You can see the officer try to pull Farrell out while the 5 kids inside scream. Her 14-year-old son gets out, but thinks again when the officer pulls his taser. The struggle continues.
You're already facing evading charges right now. You ran away from me, okay?
That's over. I didn't run away. You see my children. I'm not trying to do anything wrong. I'm just trying to take them to the real ground.
Finally, Farrell agrees to get out and talk, but the conversation doesn't last long.
Turn around and face your vehicle. Ma'am, listen to me.
Farrell and the cops struggle as she tries to get back into the van. While that happens, the 14-year-old gets out again, and this time he rushes the officer, trying to defend his mom. After a short tussle, the boy runs back into the minivan. The officer tries to get him out while backup arrives.
Open the door! Open the door!
Farrell starts to drive off while another officer fires at the minivan full of kids as young as 6. Farrell then takes them on a 4-minute high-speed chase into Taos, cutting into wrong-way traffic before eventually pulling over and giving up in front of a hotel. Her 14-year-old son is arrested, and so is she.
According to the Taos News, the family was from Tennessee, taking an educational road trip in New Mexico. The mom is charged with child abuse and fleeing from police, the son for attacking an officer.
See, people can throw up emotional appeals and anecdotes all they want about how my dad and Uncle Goober were some of the most upstanding citizens you've ever met, and they were cops. Damn good cops, too. But let's be honest. Good people don't derive their existence by being fear-mongering revenue generators for the state. Good people don't steal people's money by fining the crap out of them. And good people don't threaten the lives of others for disobeying the commands of political puppets. They just don't. These guys aren't heroes. And as this military vet rightly states, there is no honor in doing what cops do.
There is no honor in this! There is no honor in this! There is no honor in this, man! How do you do this to people? How do you do this to people?
The boys in blue are merely men, street thugs walking among us with badges, costumes, guns, and utility belts, as they and their fellow thugs imagine that they have more authority over your life than you have. I mean, seriously, think of it this way. If you or I did what all cops do on a daily basis, arbitrarily pulling people over, ambushing and harassing people, requesting their papers, commanding people to step out of the car and get down on the ground, breaking into homes because someone's growing a plant they don't agree with, taking our hard-earned money for transgressing their boss's arbitrary commands that they like to call laws, kidnapping people and throwing them into rape cages, and even murdering people. If we did what they do, and they do this stuff every single day, guys, we would be called thieves, kidnappers, and murderers. Let's face it, cops and those who condone their practices attempt to legitimize their immorality by cloaking themselves in the blanket they call authority.
The state of Texas is giving me the right to enforce the law.
Let me leave you guys with this thought. If one holds justice, peace, and nonviolence in high honor, he will, with that singular thought on these 3 things, disrespect the badge, the thin blue line, the flag, and anything or anyone that attempts by purpose or by neglect to dilute such honor in any way.
Before you go, check out one of the most in-your-face, hard-hitting, conversation-starting shirt stores on the planet. Just by wearing one of these t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops, or cutoffs, and without saying a word, you can let people know that black rifles matter. You can inform the sleeping masses that fluoride is dumbing them down, that Google is a gulag-style censorship machine, that the Department of Homeland Security is merely security theater, that the NSA makes your private life their business, that the Grim Reaper supports everyone's troops, that we need to legalize freedom, that in life there are no excuses, that CNN is a communist news network, voting is the suggestion box of slaves, that 9/11 was a lie, and that all official stories should be questioned. Also, let people know we're in the middle of a full-blown sheepvolution, taxation is theft, the IRS is an immoral robbery service, cops enjoy protecting and serving the crap out of you, that the space you occupy is not a gun-free zone, and that gun-free zones are the most dangerous places on earth. Your purchase helps support more hard-hitting content on my censored channel. As of the recording of this video, I have over 90 designs. I take your requests for new designs, and I'm adding new ones every week, so check back often. The link to the store is in the description. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.